the vision we are walking towards, so what we're currently kind of building further, is a real end-to-end platform in which everyone can plug in their business context, chat to a strategist, and basically focus on their business goals, their strategy. And from there, Eloo becomes an autonomous AI workforce builder. So let's say that you're now stepping in and start, just describing your business, what KPIs you'd like to hit next quarter, or maybe even for the entire year. Eloo's job is to help you distill that and then map for you how these could become agentic workflows. So it come up and say, we can build these marketing channels for you and turn them into agents, and we can build this and that and whatnot. And then it literally creates the AI workforce, so kind of deploy the agent for you.
Hey, welcome Davida to my startup podcast. A pleasure to have you on.
Happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I'm glad that our now mutual friend Jackson introduced you to me. And I was able to look through your website and learn some more about the agents that you're building, which I look forward to learning more about. But before we jump into that, do you mind just going into a bit about your background? What led up to you building your current startup?
Yeah, happy to. So I actually started my career as a journalist, but after doing this for several years, working at a news desk, I opened my own professional services agency. And basically, we were focused on doing executive training in the field of burnout prevention. I love doing that. So that was kind of the core of the business. But honestly, 80% of my time was spent on, doing the things that keeps businesses alive. It would be go-to-market and operation, and then hiring and onboarding people. So
yeah,
the things that kind of, you want to run this machine. And so with time and the opportunity that now AI present to the market, I was fascinated by the idea of how we can actually use AI for small businesses, for, professional services firms. The idea of Eloo is basically to make AI adoption accessible to all. How can everyone build agents without knowing how to code, without even knowing how to specify? Basically, just plug in their business context, what they know, what they experts on, and then Eloo will create the agentic AI workforce for them.
Yeah. It seems to be a successful model when starting a startup. When you first have experience in some certain domain, you know how the process works, and you see the inefficiencies. That seems to be the recipe. Well, at least one of the big recipes for success is seeing that firsthand, especially if it's in some unique domain that not everyone has access to, because then it kind of creates a moat for you in that space. So was there a certain process in particular that you zeroed in on at first to that you felt would be right for automation?
Yeah, so actually when we just got started, we focused mainly on some go-to-market moves, whether it's marketing, so creating marketing materials, identifying buying intent signals, creating some sales collateral, so this sort of stuff. And that was our beachhead, and that got us, the first users and then customers. And from there, we expanded to other workflows and operational parts within small businesses and agencies. But definitely kind of leaned into the most burning needs, which is for every business to just generate pipeline, to bring customers in.
Yeah. There's an interesting question that comes to mind here. So you've built an agent that helps with go-to-market, but of course you're launching yourself to go to market, right? So are you able to use that agent at all for your own internal operations? Yeah.
We eat our own dog food all the time. One of the first agents one of the first agents I built with my own platform is an agent that scans my competition on LinkedIn and finds people who comment on my competitor posts, and then I can I can then reach out to them.
Yeah,
I can't tell you even how many.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
to grow to our platform just by identifying those. So absolutely. I also just love testing it myself and understand how my users think, what they are experiencing. Just really, we talk a lot with our users, but literally it's just experiencing this workflow ourselves is very helpful to identify any potential friction in the process.
Yeah, that is a huge benefit, not just the savings that you get from using your own product, but the first-hand feedback that you get, which is sort of invaluable, because one of the most important things with iterating, of course, is having a tight feedback loop. And so if you are the one using it, then it's as, I guess, as rapid of a feedback loop as you can have. Very
true. Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of came up through your past into kind of the vaguely agents, but tell me, what exactly is the goal of your current startup? Let's dive into your current startup now and go into what is the product.
Absolutely. So basically, Eloo started as a platform that lets anyone spin up their own agents in plain language. This is obviously already live. More than 100 companies have been onboarded in the last few months, so this is exciting. But the vision we are working towards, so what we're currently kind of building further, is a real end-to-end platform in which everyone can plug in their business context, chat to a strategist, and basically focus on their business goals, their strategy. And from there, Eloo becomes an autonomous AI workforce builder. So let's say that you're now stepping in and start, just describing your business, what KPIs you'd like to hit next quarter, or maybe even for the entire year. Eloo's job is to help you distill that and then map for you how these could become agentic workflows. So it come up and say, we can build these marketing channels for you and turn them into agents, and we can build this and that and whatnot. And then Eloo literally creates the AI workforce, so kind of deploy the agent for you. The next part we're also building is reporting on performance of the agents. And everything I'm now sharing basically comes from gaps we are seeing in the market. Because if it became so easy now to build agents, what's still missing is the company context, on one hand, and then closing the loop with performance on the other hand. No one really cares about how many times the agents ran each day and how many tokens they burned. I mean, it's interesting, but it doesn't move the needle for the business. What they really care about was the agent able to get a decent ROI? Did it, yield the right business results that we expected to receive? So we are doubling down now on the company context before the agents and performance tracking alongside the agents. Yeah,
that's incredibly important. I mean, for example, you could have you could hire an employee that's very clever. They come off very smart, but if they're not actually moving the needle with providing value for the company, then it doesn't. They may be intelligent. That's not false, but they're not contributing to the revenue. So that's really what a business is being able to create more value than you use up. So that is the key factor there.
Absolutely. If I can kind of double click on that for a minute, I compare agents to employee onboarding all the time. Not because I think agents are employees, but because there's a very similar idea of, let's say you just hired someone new as your employee. It could be junior, it could be senior, it doesn't matter, right? You can't expect them, even if they're most talented employees you could get, you can't expect them to get those excellent results, not on day one, and especially not if they don't know your business. And this is the reason why we are working so hard now on this thing we call the company context or the company brain. Your best employee is not the one, kind of the most skillful. It's the one that actually knows your business. So their actions make sense to your context. And this is exactly what we want to feed into the agents so they can yield much better results.
It's absolutely a critical part of kind of making these general intelligences more intelligent within the niche that you're operating within the workflows of the company that that it's being hired, as we mentioned, so to speak. So how do you 'cause it could be a lot of information, right, to integrate that all into the AI. How is it accessing those? How do you guys? Let's start off by, say you're onboarding a new company.
Mm-hmm.
What steps do you go through with them to make sure you have all the information available for the AI?
Absolutely. That's a very good question. So an onboarding process usually looks like they first go through an intake where they describe their company. They basically give some initial context. This is who we are. This is what we do. The agent can also go and explore more of it if anything is available online. Otherwise, the customer just need to provide a little extra context. On top of it, Eloo plugs into their current tools and systems. It could be email, calendar, CRM, even the invoices, a software, ERP. We have almost 100 integrations today. So wherever your data exists, we can plug into, and basically this also being fed into the company context. So we have the intake, we have the tools, but on top of it, we have the Eloo strategist, which is almost like an advisor role within the platform. So this is fascinating to see, because once our users start chatting with this advisor or strategist, they enjoy clarity. But on top of it, this actually becomes part of the evolving context, right? Companies, and I think this is fascinating, honestly, companies are dynamic. They're never static, right? And the more you interact with the platform, the better the context becomes, because it evolves. So this is how the process of not just the onboarding, but also the continuous learning, this is how it happens.
So when they're working with this strategist agent, I'm imagining, is it like a chat interface where because I know for a similar application that was for a cold outreach on LinkedIn, I kind of messaged an AI to let it know what I wanted to do, how I wanted to reach out, and then, like you said, it builds up that context. Is it similar to that?
Yeah, it's a very, very similar interface. We're going to add some voice very soon, but currently it's a conversational interface via chat. I was inspired by many products, but one of my favorite ones is Boardy, if you've heard of it. And
what was that one?
Boardy. And Boardy is all about, networking. So they can make introductions with other founders, operators, investors. And the quality of the conversations with Boardy, which is basically a chat, an AI, but the quality of conversation is always so good because it keeps such high quality of memory on you that you never start from point zero. So we were inspired by those and many others, but the idea of memory, it's not new. It's just a question of how to do it well. And this is the part we don't want to compromise on, because AI slope is real. And, bad results, this is not it's not about volume. Never. It's about quality.
Yeah. And so how does that work ensuring that quality? Is it a matter of upfront picking or adding the right data to the context in the first place, in addition to having the AI be able to select the right data? Is it mainly those 2 points, or is there some other point that I'm missing there?
It's several things. So initially, it was a lot of knowledge we encoded in. I know this industry firsthand. There's many industries, but the idea of agencies, service providers, consultants, and some SMBs. But on top of it, we just talked to literally hundreds of users pre-launch and post-launch. And we were able to take all this knowledge, right, and turn them into those, let's call them Lego bricks, that sits under the hood. So this is one very important channel of information that makes the results much more accurate than any generic LLM. But on top of it is exactly like you said, the more companies, the more users, the more customers use our platform, they basically expose their interesting, unique knowledge. Now, it's not being shared in any way with other customers. Data is always secured. But the idea of those best practices are being taught, so they're learned, and they basically improve the results over time. So there's a feedback loop going on there.
Okay, so based on the feedback that you guys get from talking directly to customers, you use that to guide the behavior of the agent?
Yes, but it can also be feedback that they share on the spot without going through
with
me. Yeah, so exactly. When they chat with the agent, it can course correct itself based on how the user interacts with it. Exactly.
Yeah. And just a quick question back to something that you mentioned before. How did you guys actually integrate with so many different platforms for drawing the data? Was there some kind of a universal platform that helped you integrate to all of them, or?
Yeah, we're using a solution plus done some stuff ourselves. Honestly, today it's a solved problem. Those connectors today are. I think the challenge, by the way, yeah. I'd say that the challenge is not connecting to the tools, it's knowing what data to fetch from the tools. You can imagine it can become very, very noisy when you have so much data, so much information. So what is really relevant for the agent? It can think of your Google Drive, right? So if you connect an agent to your Google Drive, connecting it is not the challenging part. The difficult part is to get it, understand what it needs to take from where to which task at each moment.
Sure.
It's hard on humans, not alone to agents that get exposed to your drive for the first time. But yeah, it's this is the exact challenge.
Gotcha. Yeah. Even a new employee. I mean, it's tough to. There's so many things that you have to absorb at once. And it's not that it's too complex to understand. It's just you haven't been exposed to it, so you just don't know it yet. So it takes some time. And then now moving on to the next step, the onboarding. So you have connected all their data into their, I guess, agent harness. And what's the next step there? Are they deciding which employees they want to draft up as agents?
Exactly. Eloo will suggest them. But of course, it's always the customer decision. It's always the user decision. They're always involved in whether if it's just approving or literally get involved and describe in more detail what they want. So when I say autonomous, it doesn't mean that our customers can't or don't want to be involved. They just have the option to decide to what extent they want the AI workforce to be autonomous. So for some customers, it will be, okay, I accept the suggestion. I also want the agent to go and send emails on my behalf. Great. For others, just, no, get my context, draft some emails and suggestions for me. I will approve, I will send, and that's totally fine. That's how it should be in terms of personalization is also about permission and approval and those guardrails you want to put. Yeah,
and speaking of which, look at your guys' website. I mean, there's various types of agents. How do you, what makes a different role? Is it the permissioning, like what information it has access to? Is it also a different model itself? So say a sales agent versus I don't know, an accounting agent. I'm not sure if that was one that you guys had, but what actually makes these agents different from each other? Or how do you create that difference? Are you training it in some way? Yeah.
What makes each agent different is what are those building blocks that I mentioned before. Sometimes people call them skills or fuzzy, doesn't matter. There's so many words. But basically what those agents are comprised of. So agent is always get built on the spot for the user. We don't pre-build the agents. What we did pre-build is those building blocks that are basically professional knowledge. How to treat an invoice, how to treat a vendor or supplier, how to create a sales proposal. So each one of our users can and should definitely create the agent as it see fit, but the agent becomes more professional by just collecting the right building block for the sake of this specific workflow. Oftentimes it's a workflow, so several agents interacting with one another, creating a full process.
Got it. So say for example, if I wanted to have a workflow where an agent, it's called reaching out to potential customers, and I wanted to say, follow up 4 times if they don't hear back, and then what else? Maybe like read some stuff from their profile or something to cater the message. So how do I actually? Am I just as we mentioned before, just typing to the AI to do that, or do I have to? If there's some software suite that I use, like show it, what steps in the workflow to take.
You can just type it in. You can just describe it.
Type it in, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And oftentimes what Eloo will do at this point is start asking you questions. Instead of just say, okay, I got you, and then it will build something you don't need.
Yeah.
It might ask you, do you have a pre-built list of leads and I only need to send this email marketing campaign, or actually do you want me to find the leads for you? And if you want me to find the leads for you, can you give me a description of your ICP, or do you want me to find someone who's actually searching, in market for your solution? So it will come up with some clarification questions to make sure that the workflow you are now receiving is far more accurate to what you need, because we all do business slightly different, right? And the key here is to know that you can trust, in this specific case, the AI to work within your business guidelines and not how the AI should think it work. Like you're steering it, basically.
Right. So we have the context built up, then the workflow, and then this is all moving towards, of course, as you mentioned before, the KPIs. What are the actual the business goals that we're chasing after, and how is it typically just the customer's existing business KPIs that you're slotting in there, or is there a way that we're leveraging the AI to help determine them?
It's usually the current business goals and KPIs.
Yeah.
If a user wants to consult the strategist and say, I don't know, maybe we should aim higher or do something different, definitely.
Yeah.
You can get the pushback, you can change,
Right.
you can iterate. So it's, again, up to them, basically.
Gotcha. So we're moving towards a certain business goal, and is there a certain industry that you're focused on? So is there a certain target market segment that you guys are going after?
So basically, that's a very interesting question that we were kind of debating with ourselves. Should we just go really niche down one vertical? And eventually, we actually decided not to niche down on the vertical, but to niche down on the different functions that the agent should actually do. So what do I mean by that? For Eloo to work well, it doesn't matter if it's for example, real estate agency, travel agency, or HR and recruiting agency, or home repair agency. We have those as well. What's more interesting for Eloo, are they doing marketing? Do they need sales enablement? Do they have or need customer support? Do they run back office? Well, everyone runs back office, right? So as long as they need those, we bet on those functions. We've built those functions rather than for a specific industry. What we exclude, or kind of our way to niche down, is to say currently we don't do finance in the sense of agents will not make transactions. Or we're still not on voice, this is just coming next. Or, some stuff, or we stay away from regulated industries for many reasons. But our focus is, again, less about kind of this specific type of industry and more about what are the functions that those businesses need in order to run their business in the smoother way possible and let the people, the employees really do their work. I was just chatting with a real estate agency owner. They have, I believe, 25 reps doing, 8 figures a year. And I asked him, what will you do, or what your reps will do with all this time that they suddenly get available if they are to use those agents, which he excited to start using. And he said, because every real estate agent, person is doing everything currently from beginning to end. If you can, offload all this manual work, they suddenly have 2 more hours a day to do business development. and that means more business, and that translates directly to revenue, right? So this is kind of how they see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are certain things that I guess are necessary to do because they're operational things that do move forward the business, but don't actually bring in more money. So it's good to automate those things and focus on the things that are bringing in more money.
Like you can't without. And previously you had to hire maybe someone to do this for you, or just literally spend the time on running the machine. With AI, the opportunity just, too good not to be taken by just delegating this work to agents.
Right. And so say if I spin up one, for example, a sales AI, it's going well, and then so I want to spring up a whole team of AIs, right? How do they coordinate with each other? Or are they routing to me? Or they're all reporting only to me, or do they work amongst each other as well?
It's both. They work amongst each other, both because they share the same, again, company context or brain, but also we build them in a way that they can be piped. So one output is delivered for another agent's input, as an input, right? So you have the stream. So when you get the report on performance, it's already on behalf of the entire machine. Right? It's almost like you would have, say, a chief of staff, and he will come and say, I already checked the company for you. Here's your report. Here's what's going on. Should we change something? You're off track, you're on track, whatever.
Right. And one thing that I'm thinking about as I'm trying to, in my head, manage this or pretend like I'm managing a group of agents. So these agents, or AI in general, can be very, they think a lot quicker than us, right? They can produce a lot of information. And so if I have 6 agents reporting to me and there's a lot of information, how do I have the bandwidth to actually manage them in a way where I'm not the bottleneck?
Interesting. Yeah.
And it may not even be a stall of this year yet, maybe something that will hit, but
no, absolutely. So currently our way, and I think many solutions, by the way, take this approach. The way to tackle this is to decide where the approval gates. So if, for example, for you as the business owner, it's really important that there's no communication going out to a customer without you approving this before. This might be a bottleneck, but also totally your, obviously, decision that you want to, kind of safeguard this communication. For others, I've seen many examples where they say, well, for key accounts, never sends this information without going through me. But if someone just someone might have a question that the agent can just support question, right? The agent can pull from the context and quickly reply to the customer. There's no need, right? There's no need for them to wait on your response if they can just quickly say, this is our pricing model, or this is how you fix XYZ, etc.
Gotcha. And how have you found that to what extent is this able to scale? So I'm sure eventually we'll have entire Fortune 500 companies of agents. But for right now, is it to what extent can it scale? Like, is it mostly like maybe up to, I don't know, a company with like 10 to 50 employees at max might be able to take advantage, but like it's not going to be able to scale to maybe 1,000 plus agents for like a large company?
Yeah.
Where do we stand right now?
I think the market is still very confused about what's possible, or maybe even kind of afraid to imagine. Because what we're seeing is a shift from counting how many employees to counting how much revenue per employees we're actually counting here. So we've already seen the first $1 billion, it's like solo founder $1 billion company.
Right.
They kind of made some headlines. It was a bit okay. There's a marketplace there, so it's gross margin, but still. So are we about to see a Fortune 500 company being made of just a few people, like a lean team and a bunch of AI agents? Sure. I mean, this is where the market is going to. Is it going to happen in a month, in 6 months, or 2 years' time? I don't know. I do believe by the way, the bottlenecks for bigger companies, enterprises, etc., is actually the idea of governance. So when I work, again, with our customers and users, everything moves so quickly. Once they're open to it, there you go, here's the context, permission, let's spin up agents, let's do the work. Obviously, when enterprise, everything moves a little slower.
Sure.
So to see a real shift, this is more of a human question, a decision of the, whoever stakeholder to say, okay, we are going fully in and we're going to make this company agentic and we want to take part in this process.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I was imagining large teams of agents interacting with each other like we do today with human beings. But yeah, I mean, you can have a company with less than 10 agents that's doing $1 billion in revenue, and they can think fast enough where you don't need more employees. They just each agent employee does more thinking in less time.
Yeah, they need to move the needle. It's not even a question of how many agents, right? You can have 100 agents, and each one is kind of mediocre output. If you have 10 agents working like a great machine, knowing what you need, what you're after, and can bring business, and you just you're doing the key part of actually talking to people and close the sale. Wonderful. Absolutely.
Did you I know you have a startup experience. You've had some other ventures. Did you ever have a mentor, someone that sort of brought you into the startup space, or showed you how to save a lot of time on things?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate my mentors so much. So with every venture that I founded, this is my third one. So I had this agency that I mentioned for several years doing executive training. And then we had a small bootstrap startup who basically digitalized the product, the service into a product. And then the current company, Eloo. For each one of those, I definitely had not just one mentor, but a few. Some of them were and still are other startup founders. One of my favorite is now leading a unicorn. So I've been with him. He's been with me since day one of Eloo, and I just love seeing him grow. But he also enjoyed kind of sharing his advice and his perspective on companies' growth. We have now wonderful advisor, worked for Microsoft, and then some other great companies that keeps kind of helping us with, just go to market and really understands how to navigate such complexity. I find that mentors, once you're very open and clear about your ask, but also about your vision, right? You need to have a compelling vision and kind of get them excited, and then you're being very clear and open with your request. I find this as an asset. I love transparently sharing what I need. I love taking their feedback, not just advice. Sometimes it's feedback, sometimes pushback. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's amazing how much time just learning from someone who's already done it can save you. I mean, it makes sense, because in many cases, when you first start off a business, there's a lot of ambiguity, right? There's so many things. There's a million different things that you could be doing at a given time. But then once you figure out what's actually working, it boils down to far fewer steps and things to do than all the millions of things that you're considering when starting the business, right?
Yeah.
And so someone who's already been that, they can take those few steps and they're already consolidated, right? They can pass them on to you. You don't have to consider those millions of options, right? So there's a clear reason why we're able to benefit so much from a mentor like that. And speaking of mentors, though, it makes me then think, well, these AI agents have mentors when they're onboarded, right? Will they, or how will that happen? Or will the knowledge just be ported into their memory? Or will they learn from an AI mentor?
Yeah, I think you just outlined an idea for the next $1 billion startup, right? Someone should build this. AI mentors for AI mentors.
Yeah.
I mean, some parts of it are already being done to some extent in different capacities. I've seen this all over the place, not just obviously with our platform. The more someone is trained in a specific domain or on a specific practice takes ownership of an agent and kind of, we call them fine-tune, but basically it's mentoring, right? Yeah, you make the agent better, especially over time. It's never a one, fix like one time, and you always need to iterate. So this is one type of mentorship. Probably one of the challenging things for the current situation of LLMs and then therefore agents is that they tend to please. You probably noticed, you say something to ChatGPT or even Claude and they will go, oh, you're absolutely right. And then you go 100, change the opposite. And then you said, of course, now you're also right. So a real mentor will not do that. And if we want AI to be trained with the best mentor, we should also tell the AI, don't be in a hurry to please me. I expect the pushback. I expect the challenging questions. I expect a decent brainstorming or a conversation here. So the more we kind of try these, the more I think we lean towards the mentorship kind of practice and craft, rather than just say, here's what you need, great, and this is never great.
Right. Yeah. We need the AIs to have conviction, right? To believe in what they, or to stick by what they believe. And it's interesting to think about what's actually behind that. I guess what will be necessary is to have they need some way to measure their own confidence in something so that they can know, should I stand behind this thing or not? And that may be a job for the AI scientists, or maybe, who knows, maybe a product will figure out a clever way to do it. But yeah, once they can figure that out, maybe they'll be able to hold their ground better.
For sure.
And you mentioned vision before. What do you see as the vision for your startup? What's ultimately the grand goal?
Yeah, the vision is literally making AI adoption accessible to the entire market, but basically the entire non-technological market. We've seen now that even with vibe coding tools, whether it's Claude, but also literally every vibe coding tools, only 2% of global knowledge workers, I'll park aside now physical work, but knowledge workers, only 2% of the market are using vibe coding tools at the moment. Only 2% have adopted them. Why? Not because everyone else is incapable, obviously, but because those 2% represent the builder type. They are able and they want to step in, to understand the process, how to prompt, how to specify, how to set guardrails, how to whatever. The other 98%, they don't do it. So even if we go a little more, towards, it's still that there's a huge part of the market, a significant part of the market who are not there yet. So currently they face some bad options, buying point solution, it never precisely fit their needs. Hire someone to do this for them, but then where's the accessibility, where's the enablement part? So we want to give those 98% just the ability to use AI the way they want, and not just chatting with it and asking questions, but literally putting AI to work. And this is our vision, therefore our mission, to go with it. 98%, the non-technical market. I love this market. I grew from this market. And just, get their agent work for them.
Yeah. There used to be the saying from Microsoft, the computer on every desk in every home, right? So maybe it'll be an agent in I don't know, around within every billion-dollar company. I'm not sure, but something there, yeah.
Something there.
At least 10 agents with each in each company.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like the goal, just to summarize it, is to kind of lower the barrier to entry, so that that remaining 98% can really take advantage of these gains in efficiency that people that are on the cutting edge, because they already have they already happen to be in tech are able to take advantage of.
For sure. Exactly.
And what do you think will keep you guys at the forefront versus competitors, or what will provide a moat around you guys to protect your position?
Yeah, moat is a very spoken question these days. Obviously, we see
Right. Yeah.
eating startups for breakfast, and it's hard. So, what makes your technology defensible? And I will say, yeah, we have some proprietary parts in our technology, but honestly, I don't think this is our biggest moat. Our biggest moat is that we literally know our customer operation. We see it all the time. They open the screens. We encoded many of these patterns into the platform. We know how it works, both because I've been there, but also because we literally have access to a very, very huge user base and customer base using Eloo. The moat here, so that's kind of one half. So the moat here comes from just knowing the business and being able to get the agents to know it as well, therefore create good results. Another part of the moat here is actually, like I mentioned at the beginning, this company context, it's evolving over time, it's learning. It's not a one-time, okay, we got the company. No, company evolves, company learns, company is dynamic. So the more they use Eloo, the better it becomes. And so we have a data flywheel. It gets better over time.
Right.
So for them to step away from it will be to starting from scratch. For us, it's a very strong moat. We're fortunate to serve them over time, but just, they're using it more and more, therefore it becomes so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think those are both two kind of powerful forces. There's billions of dollars worth of information trapped inside these brains around the world, and the only way you can get to it is by talking to people, right? Having those conversations, and so not everyone is focused on that or is willing to do that, and so it does provide a big advantage to have so many conversations and to consolidate that information and make it available to an AI.
Absolutely.
And how has it been starting a startup in Israel? I know there's a strong startup community in Israel. Do you find does that feel competitive that way, or do you find there's a lot of resources?
So I operate both in Israel and the US, specifically New York. It's actually a US based company. My market is mainly in the States, although home is Israel. Company and business is the US. I'm currently
it is based in New York. Gotcha.
Yeah. But still, I'm connected to both ecosystems. It's been wonderful to build in both. In Israel, there's a strong camaraderie between founders. It's a lot around, honestly, cybersecurity. We're seeing now more and more AI companies, but up until now it was Israel, cybersecurity, and now we're starting to see more AI companies. So I'm really kind of glad to take part in this new wave of companies coming out of Israel. And in New York, I should say, even New York within the US, there's an excellent vibe of operation and doing, and everything kind of so exciting by the openness to try and adopt and give feedback. So I find it so easy to move fast here. Launch, iterate, learn, iterate. So this is just a wonderful place also here to build a company, I should say.
No, I agree. I mean, New York's been, it seems like it's really hitting its stride in the startup space. There's so many different people, different events going on, people starting startups. And one thing I talked with a previous guest about who also loved the New York ecosystem was that, as we were just talking about, there's all this niche information that's inside people's heads, right? And New York has all these other industries besides tech, which San Francisco does not have as much of. And so we have the closest access to talk to those people and get that domain knowledge and make it accessible to the AI. So I think that does give a good advantage over here.
Yeah, that's a very good point. If I need to sell dev tools, I should probably be in the Bay Area. But no, I like the non-technical industry. This is why I'm here.
Exactly. And I usually just finish up with two other questions. What's the biggest challenge that you've faced so far? So I'll start with that one, then I'll get to the next one.
The biggest challenge, I would say, is that the market is very noisy now. It's good. We see many solutions. Sometimes those are great solutions. And then others, it's because it's so easy to build now. Everyone can push an app or an agent or whatnot. It makes the market crowded and noisy. It's kind of sometimes could be challenging to rise above the noise. Again, we're fortunate to be able to get our distribution in place and to get many companies. But the bar keeps getting higher because everyone is building now. So this is definitely challenge number one, I would say.
Yeah, no, that is too. The double-edged sword of things being easier to build, right? It's easier for everyone. But yeah, I'm hoping that what ends up happening is that we can each find our own niche to grow into. And, there's just more startups, right? Just more companies. And each new startup that started, there's all things that they interface with and have issues with. And so there's a expanded surface area of problems to solve. So maybe it'll only lead to more problems that need more startups to solve.
True,
so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
And last up, if you have time, what's the most valuable insight that you could give to an entrepreneur that would save them a lot of time or a lot of stress and hassle?
I love this question. I would say focus on customers. Listen to users, chat to customers, sell before you build. Don't talk to investors at the beginning. Yeah. Forget everything else. Just know you're solving something real that people are willing to pay for because you're solving a real problem. Everything else is noise. And once you succeed in that part with customers, everything else will also fall in place. So that would be my number one advice to entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Well, Davida, I think that was an excellent explanation of how to really zero in on the signal, not the noise, right? That really focus on that customer feedback and what they're willing to pay for. So great place to end this episode. It's been a pleasure having you on, and I look forward to seeing where your company goes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Absolutely.